Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurulmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Pesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for joining in and giving us your association and your precious time. Prabhuji, please accept Dandvat Pranams from everybody in the group who have joined and are about to join. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhuji. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 7, which is the scheduled incarnations. And today we are on text 11. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiriyeta Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagata Sevya Bhagavate Yutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 7, verse number 11. Satre Mamasha Bhagavan Haya Shira Sato Sakshat Sahyagya Purusha Tapanya Varna Chandomayi Makhamayo Akhila Devatatma Vacho Babhur Ushati Swashtosya Nashta. The Lord appeared as a Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me. It refers to Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is personified Vedas as well, and the super soul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. Motherji, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Vedic hymns are generally meant for sacrifices performed by fruitative workers who also want to satisfy the demigods to achieve their fruitative results. But the Lord is the personified sacrifices and personified Vedic hymns. Therefore, one who is directly a devotee of a Lord is a person who has automatically both served the purpose of sacrifices and pleased the demigods. The devotee of the Lord may not perform any sacrifice or may not please the gods as per Vedic injunctions, and still the devotees are on a higher level than the fruitative workers or the worshippers of the different demigods. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, over to you.
Hare Krishna. Now this verse speaks of the incarnation known as Hayagriva. Hayagriva is also called Hayasirsha. The word Hayagriva means the form or the head was that of a horse. It's a very unusual form. Why the Lord had to take that form? There was a reason. Because the Vedas were stolen by Madhu and Kaitaba. They were the demons. And then the Lord had to appear in this particular form, not a human form, but that form of a horse. And he delivered the Vedas once again, because the world, they wanted to steal the Vedas. Now, without Vedas, there can be no human culture. So Sri Prabhupada says the Vedic hymns are also called Chanda. Our Vedic scriptures, Sri Prabhupada mentions in a lecture, the majority contain things related to goodness, passion, and ignorance. And there are so many chanda. Chanda means prayers, hymns, poems, and all these are to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why majority or a big portion contains karma kanda. People like to do fruitive activities. We should know what is a fruitive activity. Fruitive means we are desiring some fruit and a profit, we can say, or a gain. That's called a fruitive activities. And people engage in so many activities, fruitive activities, to get some immediate results. Even in Bhagavad Gita, they say people worship demigods and for their quick results, and they do get their results. So most of these results, or in fact, all the results they are asking for are on material basis, or material benefits. It's also written that people are so much interested in fruitive activities that they want to enjoy their life on the earth, and even after earth, they want to enjoy more, to go to the heavenly planets. And they think that there's nothing more than this in the Vedas, but then that is not true. Why does Vyasdev put this section in the Vedas is to attract people to religious principles. At least in the name of religion, people will do these activities. Whereas if you go deeper, then there is the Jnana Kanda, where there is so much knowledge. Sri Prabhupada has translated a book called Ishopanishad. And if you read this book, you can get some picture of what is Upanishads. And Ishopanishad is one of the main Upanishads, which are 108. Even Bhagavad Gita is said to be Gita-Upanishad, or the Song of God. So all these fruitive activities are meant to satisfy the demigods. Earlier, if you remember, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said that when he created beings, he advised, the Prajapati means Vishnu, advised human beings along with the demigods to offer sacrifices for the pleasure of Vishnu. Ishtabhogan. Ishta means Lord Vishnu, or the Supreme Lord. And by which what will happen? Since we cannot satisfy all the demigods, one can satisfy Vishnu, then everyone else gets satisfied. So Lord Krishna, or Lord Vishnu himself, is personified sacrifices and Vedic hymns. There's a verse in the 1st canto. Many of you might have heard this verse. Vasudeva Paraveda means Krishna is, of all the Vedas, is beyond the Vedas. Vasudeva Paramaka means ultimately, I'll go word to word. Vasudeva Para Veda means is the ultimate goal. Vasudeva Para Makha means is to be worshipped, and Makha means sacrifices. Vasudeva Para Yoga, he's the object for the yogas. Then it says Kriya means fruitive activities, which are mentioned in this verse. Vasudeva Param Jnanam, there's no knowledge higher than Vasudeva or Krishna. Vasudeva Param Tapa, highest austerities is Krishna, is for Krishna or meant for Krishna. Vasudeva para dharma is the highest dharma, which is devotional service. And Vasudeva para gatim is the goal of life. So if you understand these two verses, which appear in the first canto, chapter 2, verse number 28 and 29, then everything is Krishna. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the fire, I am the sacrifice, I am the offering, I am the butter, and I am everything. So in any sacrifice, actually, even if you do kanda, ultimately it is meant to satisfy Vishnu. Otherwise, it is incomplete. Many people don't know, or they are innocent about this fact, that even those who are interested or those who are used to karma kala activity, which are very, very attractive, and people like such activities because they want quick results and they want sort of religiosity. For example, like if you invite people to do kirtan and japa, then they may not be interested. If you tell them we are going to have yagya, you just find so many people come. People still have that idea that yagya or the sacrifice will please Krishna. Yes, yagya will please Krishna, but the effect is very temporary. For Kali Yuga, a devotee engages in devotional service, in the various types of devotional service. So here Sri Prabhupada comments that devotee is actually situated on the top of transcendence, where he serves both the purpose of the Vedas and the purpose of the sacrifices, in by which even all the demigods will become pleased, naturally. Like that famous verse, Yatho Mura Naro Mula Nischanena Tripyanti Tata Skanda Paga. By watering the water of a tree, the water automatically goes up and the entire tree gets nourished. And by sending food to the stomach, the entire body gets energized. So those who are knowledgeable, they know this, that simply by worshipping Krishna, everyone will be satisfied. So devotee is on a very high level, even compared to demigod worshippers. You find that there are demigod worshippers who very seriously worship some demigod. You may have some, if you are in Indian community, you may be having some friends who are very much attached to some worship of some Devi, Devta, some vrata, some vows, and things like that. And they do it quite seriously. But not most of them do not know the objective. The objective is to worship Krishna. And once the objective is known, then automatically everything becomes okay. And to substantiate this fact, Krishna tells Arjuna that even if you worship other demigods, they are also worshipping me, but indirectly. So there are people who worship different demigods, but they are actually worshipping Krishna, which they don't know. And that worship is not done in a right way. Means they don't have the right knowledge, or nor do they know the right path. So the why Lord appeared as a higher Deva, because they think that after studying the Vedas, everything is gone. But they don't know that the Vedas come from the mouth of Krishna. So the Lord assumed the form of a horse. You may find this picture in the Bhagavatam, or maybe in some other books, if not in this canto. Some other canto, you see the picture of Hayagriva. How he assumes the form of a horse and speaks the Veda, but it's no ordinary horse. Just like the form of Matsya, Kurma, or Vara, all these forms are like that of animals, but they are not animals. They are Lord Vishnu themselves. So this incarnation of Hayagriva, the Lord had assumed just for this purpose, to give out the Vedic hymns once again to Lord Brahma. It's not that Brahma had forgotten, but he did not want the Vedas to go in the wrong hands. The Vedas are meant for the upliftment of the human civilization. You find wherever the Vedas are practiced, people are happy. And once the Vedas are not practiced, then people are not happy. Now, the Vedic principles may be practiced in the name of other religion, but yet it is done. And if one follows the Vedas, then one will be happy. That's why many times Sri Prabhupada uses the word, or many times uses the phrase, that behind the Vedas is always Krishna. Now, if you remember in the verse number 2, second chapter, verse number 46, it says about all the purposes served by a well can at once be served by the reservoir of a water, or a huge reservoir of water. Because Vedas, the well can give you little water, whereas the reservoir of water has ample supply of water. That one can do so many things simply by following the Vedas, and all the purposes can be done. Just like, I don't know, in Aldo if there's a flowing river. A flowing river always has clean water, remember that. And stagnant water doesn't have clean water. Now, if the clean water is available, then why go to small pools of water? That is the meaning. So after all, Vedis is Sarvam Ahama Veda. All the purpose of the Vedas, or the whole meaning of the Vedas, is to know Krishna. If you know Krishna, it means you know the Vedas. And if you become a devotee of Krishna, then you are on the topmost level of transcendence. Remember that. Because all other Vedas or all other rituals or so-called practices come in the three modes of nature. Some are in the mode of goodness, some passion, some ignorance. Though the Vedas are at least in the mode of goodness, but the practitioner may vary. His mentality may vary from the different modes, but when a devotee is practicing, he's on the highest level. Just like if you read the 10th canto, there are a couple of verses spoken by the demigods. And these verses, some of them are so deep that the entire meaning of the Vedas are written in those verses. And if one has faith in these verses, one can understand Krishna very easily, very, very easily. So one should not waste time. What Prabhupada says is, don't waste time. Just go straight and take the shelter of Krishna. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita tells you the same thing, Sarva Dharma Parityajya. So I'll give you one or two verses which are in the 10th canto of Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the demigods while Krishna was in the womb of Mother Devaki. Now, one of the very powerful verses, verse number 26. It says, the Sanskrit is so good. Satyam vratam satya param tri satyam satasya yonim nihitam ch satye satyasya satya vrita satya netram satya atmakam tvam sharanam prapannam. Now, if you see this word is repeated many, many times. Satyam. Satyam means absolute truth. Who never deviates from his wow. So, Lord, when he says something, he does something. And he means it, not like us. We can change our words, we can break our promises, we can cheat someone, and we do not keep up our word. We change. But Krishna is not like that. When he says something, he does it. So if you go to the translation of this verse, it's very, very beautiful. The demigods are praying to Krishna, oh Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle. the real truth, and in all ingredients of creation, and therefore you're known as Antaryami, or the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone for all time. Therefore, you are the beginning of all truth. Therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender into you. Kindly give us protection. Imagine Krishna is in the womb of Mother Devaki, and the demigods know it very well that this is the original Supreme Personality. God is going to appear very soon. So if you go deep into these prayers, and the purports are very long, in which so many points Sri Prabhupada tries to explain to us. If you can understand these points, then it means you know the purpose of all the Vedas. And who is speaking this? The demigods. And this, we all know Bhagavatam was written actually long, long ago, but at least 5,000 years ago, the Bhagavatam was put into writing by Vyasdev. So this is one of the prayers which is very, very beautiful. Among those prayers, there are some things which is still deeper. It says, O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of the Mahajans, or the great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the hoofprint of a calf. So here one very big point is given, which if you're accustomed to Sri Prabhupada, he mentions many, many times. He says, for others to come out of this ocean of becoming again, in the Sanskrit it's called Bhava Sagar. Bhava means to become. Sagar means an ocean. Now, take for example, you are in Mombasa and you are facing the ocean. Now, even your eyes can't stretch till the end of the ocean. Now, you see unlimited water, but you cannot see the aquatics inside. But if you go into the ocean, there are so many aquatics living in the water. In a similar way, we human beings, or our spirit souls, have been taking birth again and again and again into this ocean of Bhavsagar. And there's no way out. The only way out is if you surrender to Krishna, not any other way. Prabhupada emphasizes that simply by following the paths of the Mahajans, we have 12 Mahajans. Many, many times we have spoken their names, starting with Brahma, Swayambhav, Sambhu, Narada, Kapil, Vishwa, like that. All these are the Mahajans. And what is the common line among the Mahajans? They accept Krishna as the Supreme, and they accept devotional service to be everything. Now, if one follows this path, then what happens? One will eventually come out of this cycle of birth. And that, if you want, one is serious, then Prabhupada says, one is to take up at least one limb of devotional service, or one part of devotional service, or one variety of devotional service, and practice it seriously. We all know there are 9 paths: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet, serving the deity, becoming his servant, becoming his friend, offering prayers, and surrendering. These are 9 processes. And if one can take just one of them, any one of them, and practice nicely, then one can come out of it. All out of this cycle of birth and death. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, initially one has to have a very strong faith in the process itself. You'll find that those people who start coming to our institution, ISKCON, they become habituated of chanting. And you'll see many of them carrying a bead bag, either in the temple, even in their homes, in their flight, or in their traveling, wherever they are. And at least they know the purpose. Though may not be practicing nicely, it doesn't matter. But they know the purpose. And if they follow the purpose seriously, then one will come out of the cycle of birth and death. There's a beautiful conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that there are 9 processes of devotional service, which one is the best? And Mahaprabhu answers, chanting Hare Krishna is the best. So one may become puzzled, but these are not in this 9. Why Mahaprabhu replied like this? Mahaprabhu, when he replied, chanting Hare Krishna, it means it includes all the 9 processes. Like sometimes some devotee question, that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, everything is complete. Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, yes, everything is included in chanting Hare Krishna. But chanting Hare Krishna is the highest meditation. And for Kali Yuga, there is no other process. That's why Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amari achre bhakti bhava angikare amari karimu sikhamu sabare. It's a beautiful verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali, that I will become a devotee, I'll practice devotional service, and from me people will learn devotional service. So Krishna came to teach us devotional service is by chanting Hare Krishna. Now, one may say, but we need to do so many things like vows, yagyas, sacrifices, dana, tapa, and many things in the Vedas. Why are you saying just a simple thing? Well, if you really go deep into the Bhagavatam or the Vedas or even Bhagavad Gita, you'll come to this answer that chanting Hare Krishna includes everything. And it at least contains 4 things. Yagyeshu, Daneshu, Tapasu, Chaiva. In that verse, it's made very clear that all is included in the path of devotional service. I can read that verse of Bhagavad Gita when Krishna himself declares by his own mouth. If you go to the 8th chapter, it's the final verse where Krishna says, a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results deriving from studying the Vedas. Number 1, studying the Vedas is called Swadhyaya. Performing sacrifices means yagya. Undergoing austerities means tapa. Giving charity means dana. Pursuing philosophical means jnana. And fruitive activities means karma. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this. At the end, he reaches the supreme eternal above. So even if you study this one verse thoroughly and the purport, you'll find that everything is included. Because if you want to practice everything in this verse, then first of all, you have to be trained by a spiritual master. From a very young age, go to the Gurukul, practice Brahmachari Vrata, study the Vedas, at least up to the age of 25. Then maybe you can get married and perform other things like Yagya, Dana, Tapa. Now imagine that will take you years. But if you take the path of devotional service, which begins by chanting Hare Krishna, then you can get all the results at one go. Just at one go, you can attain everything. So what should we do? The choice is ours. It needs a little knowledge, but this is called clear-cut understanding. You need knowledge, you need faith, and the rest depends on you, how much faith you have in Krishna. And if you just go ahead, then everything is included. So one should not waste time. The answer given to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is perfect. That simply by chanting Hare Krishna, all the 9 limbs of devotional service are actually performed at one go. And Prabhupada repeats this in a purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in a different way. In the story of Madhvaita Puri, he says When one chants Hare Krishna, he does two things. He does hearing, he does chanting, and the remembrance follows. That is if you chant. If you hear Krishna Katha, then you are chanting, you are hearing, you are remembering. At the same time, your remembrance increases so much that you want to worship Krishna. Now that is hearing Krishna Katha. And if you do remembrance, then the fourth one is added, which is worship of Krishna. Imagine everything is included by chanting Hare Krishna. Imagine yourself, you're not in the temple. Maybe you are seated in a seat in a train, or you are in a flight, and the flight is on, or maybe the train is already gone, left the station, and you are just seated and you are simply chanting Hare Krishna. I'm sure if you are a sincere person, your mind will not be in the flight or in the train. Your mind will be transported to the lotus feet of Krishna. If you are a regular chanter, I can give that assurance. And you'll enjoy your chanting, especially when you're traveling, because there is nothing else you can do. Just sit at one place, maybe sometime for eating or going to a bathroom. Otherwise, you have ample time for chanting. So you can chant and chant and chant. And if your mind becomes a little diverted, then most devotees, they carry at least the Bhagavad Gita. At least these days, the Bhagavad Gita comes even on the phone or a Bhagavatam. Just open anywhere and read. Our human mind, or we are conditioned souls, we forget things very quickly. But upon reading, everything comes in front. Like many devotees, they have read many, many times, but they forget. But by looking at the page or reading as one sentence from the purport, they remember everything. Everything comes back. It's natural. Because these are no ordinary books. They are not ordinary sayings. These have been written by a pure devotee of Krishna, Prabhupada himself. And he's put his potency inside. That is why he wanted all of us to give this transcendental literature, to make it available to everyone and make sure that it reaches everyone. It should go to everyone. So anyone who is at least literate, anyone who knows how to read a little, if he just starts reading, it makes a big difference. Recently, one devotee, he said, what to talk of reading, even touching the book is itself a beginning. Let's say you got a book in your hand like that, and maybe you look at the picture like that, you try to see who is the author. You may not read, but another day you may open, and it makes a big difference. So in the age of Kali Yuga, this is the way out. But this, what is explained in the verse today, refers that like Srila Prabhupada books is like all the Vedas included. So in those days, the Vedas were just spoken. People had good memory. And the demons, like Madhu and Kaitap, they wanted to steal them. They even attacked Brahma. So the Lord again, he appeared as Hayagriva or Hayasirsha. Hayasirsha means horse-headed. And gave the Vedas again for the ultimate good of all the human race. It's only in the human race you can follow the Vedas, read the Vedas, follow the Vedas, and ultimately come to the understanding that Vasudeva, Sarvamiti, Samahatma Dullabha. Krishna is everything. Vasudeva, Krishna means Krishna is everything. And that simply by surrendering to Vasudeva, I will achieve all the purposes of the Vedas. It needs a little faith, that's it. Sometimes devotees, some people who are not very much accustomed to our ISKCON way of preaching or explanation, when they hear it first time, they also get shocked. There's so much knowledge in your teachings and so much in depth that is unbelievable, that so much is known even by people who are very new. Like we have a Bhakta training program here in Nairobi. And many of these Bhaktas are, I think none of them is more than 24, very young boys. And in a matter of 3 months, they've done so much, so many things in a very short time. So we should try to learn here the teachings as given, especially in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And you can come to this conclusion, what the purport is trying to say. Here the line is very clear. Prabhupada says, the devotees of the Lord may not perform any sacrifice, may not please any demigods as per very injunctions. And still the devotees are on a higher level than the fruity workers or the worshippers of different demigods. They are much better than karmakandis or sarvadeva upashak. Sarvadeva means worshippers of many demigods. You find that whenever a Hindu temple is open, generally they keep Vishnu along with Devi, Shiva, at least a minimum. They have some idea, but when a Vaishnava temple opens, then is always the form of Lord Vishnu in different, maybe different forms, but Lord Vishnu is worshipped right in the middle. Like in our temple, we have at least 4 sets of Vishnu forms: Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Radha, Banki, Bihari, Gaurnita, and Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. So we have 4 different altars, yet the ultimate is the same, Vasudeva. So it says here that one who becomes a devotee becomes the best person, even on this earth. And Sri Prabhupada wanted all of us to come to that level, to surrender our lives to Krishna. So at least within your heart, you know that you're going back home, back to God. And in this life, if you practice, this assurance must come, or this conviction must come to you as early as possible. I've seen that some people, they're not able to express nicely verses, may not be able to explain philosophy nicely, but they have firm conviction that Krishna is everything. So these are madhyamadhikaris, or maybe slightly less than that, but it doesn't matter. Once they've taken the process, they're much better than the general mass of people. Hare Krishna. So I ended in the class here. Today the main theme was the Lord appearing as Hayagriva. The Lord had to assume the form of Hayagriva to teach the Vedas, and he appeared in the sacrifice performed by Brahma. And what did he speak? He spoke the Vedas or the Chanda again. Chanda Makamaya. Because Krishna is the personified sacrifice. Hare Krishna. Any
Hare
question?
Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for today's session. Prabhuji, did this Madhu and Kaitava, did they, these were demons, and did they steal the hymns, or they were trying to steal the hymns?
They were trying to steal. They
So they didn't
almost
steal.
No, they could not steal because the Lord protected it. He knew that if it goes in their hands, they'll misuse them. So he cheated them. And then when Brahma thought that they had been stolen, so he performed sacrifice. The Lord appeared in the form of a Hayagriva or Hayasirish, is the same. Yeah. Now you'll find if you read the creation, Brahma underwent many, many difficulties. When he tries to create something, something else comes out. When he tries to create something good, another thing, there's an opposition. Or sometimes what he has already created, they try to create obstacles. So it's not the task which Brahma took is not an easy one. But in all phases, Krishna helped Brahma throughout. Till at last, he created Manu and Satrugna, the first human beings. And then the creation went normal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for that clarification. Any other questions or comments by the group?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yeah. Go ahead, speak.
Oh, yes. This was accept my humble obeisances. So my question was on the point that you said we do worship. Those who worship, they all worship Krishna, but
can you add up your volume? It's not very audible. Speak a bit loudly or come closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the Gita that says we all worship Krishna, but we worship differently on the not the right way.
Yes.
Some the people who have been born in families that are worshiping maybe Jesus Christ or Allah, and they also seeing the chants of their lords. Would you classify them as demigod worship or actually worshiping Krishna in their own way?
No, they are also worshiping. Like if in all the religions where the absolute truth is considered to be one, monotheistic, they are worshiping Krishna. Maybe the name is different, but they are worshiping Krishna. In one conversation, not one, but at least several conversations, Sri Prabhupada says, even in Christianity, they are actually worshiping Krishna. Or in Islam, they are worshiping Krishna. Now, if you tell them, they may not accept it. But this is a pure devotee speaking. Prabhupada's statements are never wrong. He says if they are worshipping one God, it actually refers to Krishna. Practice may vary, it doesn't matter. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So, if you are a Christian, you can and do your devotion rightly, you can come out of the path of birth and death.
Yes, you can come out of the path and death, provided you practice your Christianity the way it is written or instructed properly and explained by a pure devotee.
Okay. Prabhuji.
You should read the book Science of Self-Realization to get all these answers. You have the book Science of Self-Realization?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually,
yeah,
I
please read that book. Read it very scrutinizingly so you can understand the heart of Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is trying to tell us.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. Are there any other questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please kindly accept my humble obeisances, O God, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. As usual, you went into details and explained. And also, as Prabhuji was saying, that in other religions, are they praying to Krishna? It actually, Srila Prabhupada said, doesn't matter what they are praying, who they are praying. Eventually, they're praying to Krishna because everyone comes from Krishna, even the demigods. So Prabhupada said, don't encourage them because you will disturb their life. So if they can add Krishna, that's fine. But eventually, all the prayers go to Krishna. So that was very nice. Also, Prabhuji, we see that Hayagriva is not mentioned so often, but Hayagriva is in the prayers every morning. Vibhava Rishesha.
Yes, he is there. His name is mentioned.
He is there every morning. Every morning. He says Rama Krishna Hayagriva. So in the first stanza itself, Hayagriva is there. And there was another Hayagriva who was a demon also.
Yes.
So we should not. Yes. We should not get confused. We should know that this Hayagriva is the authentic one.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for adding the information. Well, some people may take the demon to be Krishna. No, there is a demon called Hayagriva also.
Yeah, just like we have Kapil Dev Muni, and then we have Lord Kapil Dev. They are two. They are two different individuals. So that also, when we read Prabhupada's book, then we learn about it. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for that addition. I now hand over to Path. Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Are you able to close the session for us today?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your nice and wonderful class. Also, thank you very much, everyone, for joining here. We know when Rukma Prabhu gave a class, there is no doubt at all. So, there is no question, Prabhuji, today. So, I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for a glorification of His grace, Rukma Prabhuji. Please join everyone.
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasinubhyascha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Santaraj Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnavin ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Rukma Prabhuji ki jai, Ajurat Yatra ki jai, jai. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare